this is Smita and you're watching Medicircle. Today at our Top CEO series, we have a woman entrepreneur, Dr. Shelly Batra. She is the Chief Executive Officer at Every Infant Matters. Dr. Shelly Batra is the CEO and Director at Every Infant Matters. She's the past president and co-founder of Operation Asha. She was selected as a social entrepreneur and Schwab Fellow by the World Economic Forum in 2014. She is highly renowned senior obstetrician and gynecologist and advanced laparoscopy surgeon in India. She has dedicated her life to providing last mile health solutions for the poorest of the poor. We proudly welcome Dr. Shelly Batra onto the Medicircle platform. Hello, Dr. Shelly. How are you?
Good evening, and thank you very much for having invited me to this platform. I'm delighted to be here.
So thank you, Dr. Shelly, for coming and joining us for this show. To begin with, you are a gynec and a now big social entrepreneur. So how has your journey been?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So I've had a multifaceted career, so to speak. I started, as you rightly said, as a doctor. I joined medical school, King George's Medical College in 1977. And then I came to Delhi. I was working in All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Safdarjung Hospital. And these are the government hospitals. Now, these are places where the patients you get are really those who can't afford private medical care. In fact, I remember when in the 70s, I had even treated escaped bonded laborers. They were like skeletons with burn marks and injury marks all over the body. So that's a different group of patients altogether that I'd served all my life. And when I left All India Institute of Medical Sciences, I joined a very fancy private hospital, state-of-the-art facilities and very good equipment and very good payment. I was very happy, no doubt. I was doing the best quality work. At the same time, there was something missing. And what was missing was the patients I had treated while in the government hospitals. That is the time I started my journey as a social entrepreneur. I used to go to the slums. I used to meet up with the patients. I used to sit on a pile of stones or a charpai with a prescription pad, a crate of medicines, and treat them. And then I would find people need surgeries. Someone needs a hysterectomy. The public hospital tells her come after 6 months.
Yes.
So I built a group of donors who would pay a small amount so that the surgery could be done economically. And obviously I will not charge, the anesthetist would not charge. And this is how I began. And then down the year, I realized that though I'm helping so many people, there is no impact in a particular public health problem, whether it is, malaria or it is TB or it is mother in child care. There is no focus, so to speak. And that led me to incorporate my first NGO, Operation Asha, together with a co-founder. This was in 2005, and I served as president. Recently, I've joined as the global CEO of Every Infant Matters. Now, you will wonder why I made this transition. And the biggest reason is that when you see the resources in the world, the resources are limited and the work is practically unlimited. So any organization that has a low-cost, high-impact program where a small amount of effort and money invested will give huge results. That is the organization that must go to scale. And that is what I found in Every Infant Matters. So this organization was started only 4 years ago in India. It's now working across 3 continents in 4 countries. And as the name suggests, the mission and vision of the organization is to serve disadvantaged children with health solutions at the last mile. And if I were to tell you what is the flagship project, you will not believe it. It is such a simple and cost-effective project.
Okay. That's really great to know.
Now, yeah, so I'm a doctor and I know about deficiencies. There are people with iron deficiency, anemia, vitamin deficiency, calcium deficiency. And there's one thing that people do not know, that there is one vitamin, vitamin A, and deficiency of vitamin A can make a child go blind.
Okay.
250 million children across the world have vitamin A deficiency. And 1 million, that means 10 lakh children every year become blind for this reason. Now, these are children who just have some boiled rice to eat because vitamin A is available, vitamin A is there in milk and eggs and paneer and cheese. These are expensive foods.
True.
So poor children living on rice, they're not just hungry, they can go blind. Now, the flagship project of Every Infant Matters is giving 2 drops of vitamin A. That is it. You give 2 drops, and you can give a child a lifetime of, vision. There is sight, there is education, schooling, jobs. I mean, I have seen a blind child. I have seen a child that came to the OPD that had become blind. The child was about 3 years old. The child was born with vision, but because of vitamin A deficiency, the child had become blind. And it was so painful to see the frustration, the anger, the trauma of the child. Imagine suddenly his world has become dark. Imagine if we were plunged into darkness for the rest of our lives. And the child was hitting his mother. He was just violent with frustration. And my heart went out to the child. And then I thought, why can we not feed our children? Why can we not prevent it? And okay, if we don't have food to give our children day after day, at least we can give 2 drops at one time and prevent this agony, this lifelong trauma. So that's what, that appeals so much to me, a low cost, simple solution that will prevent so much unhappiness and that will give economic empowerment, education, and even mental fitness, company, friendship, sports, everything is there and easily available. So you see, we are talking about disadvantaged people who don't have food. If these children lose their sight, who is there to help them? Where are the books and the laptops and the therapies that these people get in the Western world? I know there are a lot of people working for blind children in India. They are doing sterling service for disabilities. But the challenge is that it's just not enough. And something that can be prevented should be prevented. So this has been my journey so far. I'm now very well entrenched in Every Infant Matters. I'm honored and delighted to be here. And I look forward to a long relationship with the organization.
That's really, really inspiring to know that you are doing such a great job. Um,
Thank you.
Shelly, as we know that there are three major challenges of the healthcare industry, like affordability, availability, and accessibility. So in your personal experience, what would be the solutions you may think that help eradicate these issues?
Right. So these are very big issues you've talked about, and the whole country, rather the whole world, is talking about them. Healthcare must be affordable, it must be available. And being available is not enough. If people cannot access it, if it's available but 100 miles away, what's the point of it all? Now, the government of India, and like all governments, has got a very good health infrastructure. There are public hospitals. Now the country has these villages. There are primary health centers, secondary health centers. All this is available. The challenge is accessibility. In Every Infant Matters, when I started work, I found that one of the projects, I was asked to do this project, was to lead training classes for nuns in religious centers who are conducting deliveries, who are doing immunization, who are putting IV drips for children. So why is this happening? Because there's no doctor, not for miles around. So these are in states like Manipur and Meghalaya and remote parts of Assam. And there are no doctors to take care of the day-to-day issues. And I'm not blaming the doctors. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just that the government stops. The government work does not reach the last mile. And I think bridging that gap is very important. To make healthcare available to the poorest of the poor in their homes, to fill the gaps. And the gap can be a gap of distance. It could be a physical barrier. It could be a psychological barrier. One barrier we've seen is just that poor people are intimidated by public hospitals. They don't want to go there.
Yes.
But if you have someone from their own community, like we hire local people and train them as community health workers. So if someone who eats the same food, who worships in the same way, who's living in the same neighborhood. That person tells them, oh, you're going to have a delivery? Do not have a delivery at home. You have to have the tetanus injections. You must take iron tablets. Come, I'll take you to so-and-so hospital. I will facilitate this for you. Then things are done very well. Now, in our country, if you see the infant mortality, the maternal mortality, the under 5 mortalities, it's a matter of great shame for all of us that we are doing so badly on the health indicators. And the reason is what you rightly said. Healthcare is not affordable. They can't go to the fancy hospitals. And the fancy hospitals are in the cities. These people are in remote areas. There is a hospital available, but it's not accessible. They can't go there day to day. Ultimately, I feel that the civil society has to play a stronger and a much bigger role in providing access to healthcare. So I think NGOs must come forward to bridge the gap. We have so many NGOs in the country. Unfortunately, many are not doing any kind of work at all. They're just listed on paper. But those that are doing work are doing excellent work. And I feel that these NGOs, they have health workers everywhere. We can train local people into identifying issues and facilitating the transfer. So one of the training components for the nuns was when to refer a patient to the government hospital. Now, if a patient has to have a delivery, I taught them what are the risk factors you can identify during the antenatal period. If the woman has these problems, don't even try and deliver in your center. Send her to the hospital. Similarly, I said, if the patient is undergoing labor pains and there is a prolonged labor or the baby is stuck or there is excessive bleeding, now you can lose the mother and child both due to excessive bleeding, due to antepartum or postpartum hemorrhage. So when to refer, these are important points. So I think a lot of training is necessary. A lot of frontline health workers are necessary. In Nigeria, Every Infant Matters has started a project. It's a very ambitious project and it's going to take me more than a decade to do it, but we've started now. And the project is that we will fulfill the country's need of training 1 million community health workers. Now, these are the COVID times. We are getting small batches, 40 people or 60 people, maintaining social distancing, training them, sending them away, getting another batch. But it is such a brilliant project. It is doing so well, and I'm so delighted with the results. The reason is that this is a very big need. Now, North Nigeria is the conflict area where they have the insurgency, where the people are displaced, and girls are abducted. So which doctor will go and work over there? Nobody. We have to train local people. I think this challenge of making things accessible and affordable can be mitigated, can be solved by bridging the gap between the government infrastructure and the disadvantaged communities, by hiring and training local people and having NGO in the last mile. If the government cannot go, let the NGO become the bridge. So I feel that could be a solution that will work across the world.
And last one to you, Dr. Shelly. Being a woman was a challenge or an asset? So how easy it was or how difficult was it to reach where you are today?
Well, I feel that being a woman has been a matter of great pride for me, great happiness for me. And I think it is a very big asset. People feel that women can't do this and the family will hold them back and so on, especially in developing countries. I can tell you there is no such thing. People really appreciate it that you are a woman, you are going the extra mile. And then you see, being a doctor, one day you realize that there is a different path you can take. Of course, everyone needs money. I'm not one of those incredibly foolish women who say, I don't care for money. You need money to live with dignity. You have to earn your day-to-day expenses. You have to buy groceries, etc. But the mission in life is not to make money. So there is another path where there is no money, but there are results, there are outcomes, and there are people getting healed and getting better. And that is the path I could identify a long time back. And I'm proud I'm on that path. at the same time while doing my medical practice. So I'm the head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. I have 5 consultants, senior specialists under me, about 12 resident doctors. I'm training them in how to operate, how to treat patients. And I'm very happy with that aspect of my life. But this aspect of serving the poorest of the poor, it is so rewarding. And being a woman has given me so much encouragement. I mean, everyone across the world has really appreciated, encouraged me. The Schwab Foundation, that is part of the World Economic Forum, selected me as social entrepreneur. I was declared an Ashoka Changemaker in 2010, I think. So, these are awards. Of course, it's work that matters, not awards. But then awards give you a little encouragement to go on. And I think the time has come where women can really take their place in the world. And the men folk cannot hold them back. And they shouldn't. And I mean, if women don't, then half the population of the world is not there to provide solutions for the world. So how can we work with half the force? Tell me. It is not possible. So it's very, very important that women should be out there in the front. And I'm proud to say that in my organization, Every Infant Matters, we have broken every gender barrier. We believe in inclusion and diversity. So if you see the directors, the field workers, the health workers we are training, the capacity building we are doing of other organizations who require health education, whatever we are doing, more than 60% beneficiaries are women. Even our patients, more than 60% are women. So I think I'm proud to be a woman and happy I'm a woman. And maybe I've achieved so much because I was a woman. People perceive you as someone with empathy and kindness, and they're willing to support your venture. That is a big thing too.
Yes, definitely. So it was really proud talking to you, Dr. Shelly, here on the Medicircle platform. I'm privileged that I hosted this show today, and I'm privileged to have you here. Your journey is really, really inspiring, from being a gynecologist to a social entrepreneur. You have really changed lives and touched them. I think you have made healthcare affordable and accessible to the poorest of the poor. Me as a woman entrepreneur, I think I look up to you, and people, women entrepreneurs like you who have really done a lot of things, not only personally, but they have reached to the pinnacle of success with an empathy, with a human touch to it. And you have proved that being a woman is no longer something which will hold you back, and you are there to bang on the world. And definitely the women and the world belongs to people like you. So I'm really proud, and thank you so much for joining us today on Medicircle.
Thank you very much for having invited me. It's been a great honor indeed.
Thanks. Thank you.